Good afternoon, everyone. We will call the December 28th special city council meeting to order. First order of business is roll call.
Nordstrom. Mason. Doyle. Sasso. Davis. Peterson. Roberts. Brown. Wright. Laurenti. We have quorum.
Okay. And before we proceed, if there's no objections, we're going to move item 3 prior to item 2. Item 3 will be prior to item 2. First order of business then is the bill list. We'll go to Pauline Sumption, our finance officer. Pauline?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bill list has not changed from that which is attached, and the total amount is $3,055,154.64.
We have a motion by Davis and a second by Roberts for approval of the bill list. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item number 3 is confirmation of appointment of Charity Doyle, John Roberts, Bill Waugh, Colleen Schmidt, and Pete Wernicke to the Compass Committee. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Mason and a second by Peterson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next order of business is item number 2, which is to authorize the city to enter into an agreement with Jerry Johnson for legal services to represent third-party defendants in the city versus fish garbage case. Do we have a motion or discussion? Okay, we have a motion by Peterson and a second by Sasso to approve the authorization. And we'll recognize Alderman Gary Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I had received a couple calls from some constituents want to know how this obligates us if we get this hired and we're defending these people and there's a judgment made. Is the city responsible for the cost of paying the judgment?
First of all, we are, just so you understand, under South Dakota SDCL 60-2-1, we are required to indemnify our employees for their acts within the scope of their employment. Number 2, the third-party complaint, what it asks for, and it's not entirely clear, is for an offset against our employees if Mr. Meiding were found guilty, or found liable, I'm sorry, it's a civil case, if he were found liable. So it would just be an offset against, for our, what we would be paid. Honestly, we have some real questions about the validity of this third-party complaint, and we've spoken with Mr. Johnson about that, and I believe he does as well. So we're hoping this may be dismissed.
So the concern is, though, out there, is the city going to have to write a check?
No, I don't believe so.
No is the answer. So, okay.
You have to understand that we are the plaintiffs in this action. We're asking for and so it would be our employees paying us. so it doesn't make sense that would occur.
Alderman Brown, does that answer your question? Okay, you still have the floor. Okay. Any further discussion? Come on up. You could just identify yourself for the record.
Thank you. Ron Weifenbach. I live at 927 East Ohio in Rapid City here. And I have a question on, we don't know, is this lawsuit, is it actually filed, or is it something that it's going to be filed?
No, Mr. Weifenbach, it has been filed against us. It's a third-party complaint brought by Mr. Weidinger against the City of Rapid City employees. And some are former employees and some are current employees.
So it's actually a suit against the City of Rapid City, or a suit of personal nature against those in particular people?
It names, I believe it names our employees, but it was while they were acting within their capacity as city employees. Therefore, we have a duty to defend them.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to get clear, because the paper wasn't real clear about that. I've sat up there in a situation that was
Sure.
fairly similar to that and was told the exact opposite, so that's why I want to make sure that I have this clear. So they're being sued, the city's being sued, they're being sued in acting in their jobs as the city. Is that clear?
Yes,
And then-
that's my understanding.
Can you quote that law again one more time?
It's South Dakota Codified Law 60-2-1.
60-2-1. And I guess my other question is, if the case is dismissed, will we be representing them at this point, or they're having a separate attorney?
We
Is that how
have
that
to,
works?
because there's a potential that the claims would be in conflict with each other. We have, that's why we're asking to have Jerry Johnson do this defense of these three defendants.
Okay. The other question I have, Mr. Mayor, is the insurance involved in this process?
No, it
No.
isn't.
Okay.
They've denied coverage in this, and we did bring the lawsuit. So this is a complaint, then kind of a counterclaim against us. It isn't considered a counterclaim, but he's made a claim against us, basically,
So it's a
saying
claim
that
against-
if I'm guilty, then, or if I'm liable, then they should also be liable because Mr. Wright supervised me, and because these other people also were employees and they were liable as well. That's as well as I can explain it to you.
Okay, I think I understand it then. So it's in their official capacity. You could just fill in the blank with whoever's name was filling in those positions at the time. Is that correct assumption?
Exactly.
Okay,
They
that's-
were also, I believe, scale attendants. And then, of course, Mr. Wright was their supervisor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for letting me come up.
Thank you. Tamara, can you briefly explain the exclusion that St. Paul Travelers cited in denying the claim? Can you do that?
The issue is that we brought the lawsuit, and so they wouldn't provide us coverage because we are the plaintiffs in this lawsuit. Generally, they cover us when we are defendants in a lawsuit, and so just because there's a counterclaim, we were the instigators of this lawsuit. So therefore, they've said that we're basically excluded. Is the best way to describe it.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with one abstention from Jerry Wright. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
We have a motion by Davis and a second by Roberts to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.